The Building Brands Marketing Podcast is dedicated to exploring the journeys of industry leaders who have successfully built a brand. Join me, Robert Breuer, president of Building Brands Marketing, and an entrepreneur who's successfully scaled multiple brands as we dive deep into the strategies, challenges, and insights that have shaped the success of industry leaders and provide you with the resources you need to do the same. Building Brands Marketing is a full-service marketing agency specializing in crafting customized marketing strategies for service-based businesses with a creative powerhouse to drive real results. Welcome to the Building Brands Podcast. Welcome to the Legal Leader series of the Building Brands Podcast. I'm excited to welcome Audrey Chisholm, owner and attorney of the Chisholm Law Firm. Audrey, welcome.
Welcome. Hey, I'm glad to be here, and thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So let's just kick things off. What inspired you to start Chisholm Law Firm, and how did your own experience founding a nonprofit shape the way you approach your practice today, Audrey?
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you so much again, Robert, for having me on the show. And yes, Chisholm Law Firm, our mission is to help companies and individuals start and grow nonprofits that impact the world. And the story behind starting the firm was I was a college student and, I wasn't a lawyer or anything like that. And I just had a passion to start a nonprofit. I felt like God gave me this big vision to start a nonprofit that would help high school students and equip them with leadership skills and scholarship funding and help them with community involvement and paying for graduating from college debt free. I had a really big vision and I was excited about it. So I started the journey of starting this nonprofit. And I'll tell you, Robert, it was very difficult. I made a lot of mistakes, ran into a lot of pitfalls. And in fact, at one point, I consulted with an attorney, not realizing that all attorneys aren't created equal and, they focus on different things. And so I asked him for advice. He gave me advice on what to do, and it was bad advice. And I ended up losing our nonprofit status. We had to just redo a ton of paperwork, lots of headaches, lots of mistakes. And so then fast forward to, my future, I decided to go to law school. I decided to join some major nonprofit boards to really just immerse myself in nonprofit law so that I could never make those types of mistakes again. And then once I passed the bar and became an attorney, I was trying to figure out what type of law to do. And everyone kept asking me to help them with their nonprofits. And I was like, man, this is something I do for free. I'm so passionate about helping, people start nonprofits the right way. And I couldn't even understand why everyone kept coming to me, Robert. But the thing that I realized was that people had seen me over the years talking about my nonprofit, growing our organization. At that point, we'd helped thousands of students. We were giving out tons of scholarships. We'd been featured in major publications, et cetera. And so people saw the work that I'd done with my own and said, hey, can you help me with ours? And now fast forward to today, it's been 15 years. We've helped over 10,000 clients with a 100% success rate for our nonprofit filings. And we're having a great time doing it.
Yeah, that's exciting. Congratulations, Audrey. So one of the things I love about talking with you prior to today's show in our prep conversation was you've successfully built a national brand serving nonprofits. And that really excites me. I'm very interested in learning what strategies you've used that have been most effective in scaling your visibility and attracting the right clients on a national basis.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we're so fortunate, Robert, that we live in the internet age. There's so much technology. There's so many things available to us. And so I'd say, one of the biggest things is just really using social media, like allowing that to get your message out and to really speak to your ideal client. You're not trying to reach everyone, but you want to, speak to that person that you feel you can help the most. So that was something I leaned into. I still remember doing my first YouTube videos and it was very modest. I didn't have, anything fancy, but I just got on there and started sharing my knowledge and, people were interested, they were learning, they were engaged, and they would, share it with other people, send referrals, kind of get the word out that way. And then another really great strategy that's been really helpful for me is my best-selling book. It's called Start a 501c3 Nonprofit That Doesn't Ruin Your Life. And this book at any given point is typically the #1 best-selling book on Amazon in the nonprofit leadership and management category. So writing this book and just pouring in thousands of dollars worth of free legal advice in there about the things to avoid, how to structure your nonprofit properly, how to pay yourself a salary and others, how to get volunteers, how to make sure you're legally compliant, the top ways that nonprofits get in trouble and how to avoid it. I mean, it's just full of great information. And so this book just allows me to help so many people. So whether they choose to work with us or not, at least I know that they have benefited from this incredible knowledge. And we have now over 800 five-star reviews on Amazon for the book. And in fact, I even learned that other companies use our book to train their staff, which I thought
Oh,
was
very cool.
pretty interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in diving deeper there. So the book itself, how does that best serve as a marketing mechanism for you? Is it people that read it and then they just call you after? Do you send the book to prospects? Do you go and do book signings where you create prospects? Like how is the book used as a mechanism in relation to your marketing strategy?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, books for years have been ways to one, position yourself as an authority, right? Like, you really have to know a lot about a topic to publish a book. Like, if you only know the basics, like, you're not going to have enough content at all to publish a book. And then the marketplace will speak and say, was it good? So, that's that. But for years, books have been used as ways to really establish yourself as an industry leader, position yourself as an expert, to really share, knowledge and information to build trust, right? Because we're in a time where there's just so many people, anyone can, get a TikTok account and just start talking. So people want to understand and make sure that they're working with someone that truly has the experience. And so with the book, I'm able to share my story with folks so they can learn more about me and my journey, to know that, hey, I'm not like most attorneys. I didn't start a law firm that helps nonprofits to make money. No, I'm a nonprofit founder first. And that's a huge difference. So I've been through what they're going through. I've been through the pitfalls. I know what they need. I know the questions that you have. I know the fears that you have. And so I then built a company to help people avoid the mistakes that I made, right? So I'm able to really share that in the book. I think readers are able to really hear my heart, and that this is something I care deeply about, right? If I was just out there to make money, I could have a
Yeah.
big personal injury law firm or $1 million cases. No, like, I'm doing this because I sincerely want to see nonprofits win. And then the other piece is they're able to hear that experience. They're able to hear that knowledge, right? I mean, I'm dropping knowledge and gems on really complicated things they've never even thought about, things they need to watch out for, et cetera. I mean, they can really understand the depth of my understanding of this industry, how passionate I am, and just how good we are at it, right? And then we also share with them, what to look for when you are hiring someone, when you're making a decision from there. And again, we keep it totally open. Not everyone, is meant to be our client. We are not for everyone. So it's not to sell anyone by any means, but it at least gives them options. So whether they decide to go with us or another professional, they can make an informed decision and not be cheated or taken advantage of in the marketplace. So I think those are all the things that the book does as far as just building trust, building rapport, allowing them to get to know me and my story, which makes it easier to have a conversation when you're looking to work with someone, right? Because after that, you kind of understand who you're dealing with. They know what we stand for, they know what we're about. So it's much easier to pick up the phone, call our law firm, have that free consultation, because you actually understand, the mission behind what we're doing, our process, how we see things, how we approach, law and this entire process, and they can make an informed decision as to if that's a good fit for them or not.
Yeah, I love that approach. And one of the things, in looking through your website, your digital footprint with social media content, that stands out to me is consistency. You've really had consistency from a marketing standpoint. And I feel like many law firms and entrepreneurs in general struggle with patience in brand building. Like that consistency is a tough thing to do. 2 months, 3 months of regular content seems like a lot, but in the
Yes.
big picture of things, it's not. So how have you stayed consistent and kept momentum while waiting for your marketing efforts to bear fruit over the last 15 years as you've been scaling the firm?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Robert. Yeah, I think it really boils down to, just focusing on your passion, and not really worrying about the profit. Like, just focus on your passion, focus on the people that you want to help, focus on the process that you want to share with them, and help them. And then just know that everything else will work itself out. So I think it's been easier for me to be consistent because I actually deeply care about this. Like, I believe that nonprofits are the best way for us to solve a lot of the problems that we're facing in our country, a lot of the problems that we have in society. Like, I don't think it's going to be government or, even corporations that are going to fix things. It's going to be people that care about something and they tackle that problem and solve it through charities, through making a difference. Just good-hearted people that aren't in it for themselves; they're in it for a mission, right? And so, because I'm passionate, it makes it a lot easier to show up, and to keep going. But I think the other piece that's critical is you have to hire experts. We're all good at what we're good at, but you have to surround yourself and make the investment to pay actual professionals and experts that can help you along the way, right? So, I mean, I would love to say it's just me, but I have an entire team that's behind me. And so they do a lot of the details that are harder for me, or maybe the ones that I'm less motivated to do. So I may shoot the content myself. And yes, it's me. It's not AI. Somebody asked me that the other day, like, is that AI? I'm like, nope, it's actually me doing the videos. So I may do the content, but I've got a team that, they then edited and they posted and they, cross posted over, the different platforms and all those kinds of pieces and any, SEO and other components that need to go into it. They help with all that. So I would say being passionate about what you do, like seeing that big vision and knowing that it's something that's worth taking the time and investment for, but then also investing in a team, really, to allow other people to help kind of lift that load and use that expertise to help you do it, because no one is an island. None of us can do, really big things all by ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that that's great advice. In talking with you, Audrey, leading up to today, you made a really, really interesting point to me that I want to dive into. You made this fascinating point about the fact that business owners are launching foundations in many instances to elevate their brand and impact their brand in a positive way from a marketing perspective. But it also creates additional business opportunities. Can you break down at a little bit more granular level why this strategy is so powerful and how you see business owners do this in relation to nonprofits?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I was at my house and we had a vendor that was like helping to like repair something. And so I'll never forget, I had to do like a search real quick. And I was about to go, on Google and just search for it. And they were like, no, you need to go to Ecosia. You have to look it up on Ecosia. And I was like, what's Ecosia? I mean, he was so passionate about it. He's like, you have to use Ecosia because every time you search using their platform, they plant a tree. It's going to help save the world. And I was like, wow. And so I was just taken aback by it because, again, here's a business that has a huge charitable component, which is, hey, we're going to plant a tree every time someone does a search. But
Yeah.
because they have that charitable component, they just got a free referral. They didn't have to spend an ad for this guy to tell me about their company. They didn't have to spend on billboards or TV commercials or radio plugs or anything. This person is self-motivated to promote this business. And he's like an evangelist telling everyone about their company without any incentive, without them having to pay him at all. Why? Because they stand for a charitable mission. And that's something that resonates with him, and people will do that. We can look at the company Tom's. I was looking to buy, some deodorant for my kids, and I was looking for aluminum-free deodorant. And this company Tom's, they had one. And even though they were more expensive than the other options, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy Tom's because I know that anytime you make a purchase from them, they buy a pair of shoes for a kid in need, right? They've got that charitable component. Again, they're a business like everyone else on the shelves trying to compete. But yet now I'm out there, making a buying decision for their company, even though their product is priced higher than other people, even though the other companies might, have better things or whatever, because I resonate with that charitable purpose. And the same thing applies to business owners, right? Studies show that when you have a charitable component to your business, people are more likely to forgive a mistake through the process. So if one of your team members, which we all know employees are not perfect, they mean well, but they're not perfect. If they make a mistake, they're more willing to forgive it. They're more willing to give you a referral. They're more willing to convert at a higher percentage. All of these things are true when you have that charitable component. So how does a business owner do that? Very simple, setting up a foundation. And so that foundation is going to have a couple of benefits, Robert. The first is, one, that foundation is going to allow them to get all of those benefits: higher converting clients, clients that want to willingly refer cases to them, clients that are willing to forgive mistakes, clients that are willing to do business, over periods of time, all because they know that, hey, this company has a charitable component. So one, you're going to get more business from it. But two, you get more money from it, right? Because when you have a foundation or a nonprofit, you're now able to access grant funding. You're able to access public support from donations. You're able to get corporate sponsors. So you're now getting more income that's coming in. All right. Then that same business owner can choose to pay themselves a salary through the foundation or through the charity. That's perfectly legal. And we provide, all the help for how to do that. It has to be structured a certain way, but that's a part of our process. In our packages, we're able to help people make sure it's structured so that it meets IRS criteria, but they're able to pay themselves and even others, family members, maybe other employees that you don't want to promote them through the company, but you're looking for another way to recognize them. You can pay those individual salaries, right? Again, there are rules to it, but there's a way to do it while, complying as well with public policy. Okay. So they're able to get, a salary if they want. They're able to get tax benefits. So all of those donations that business owners are already making, you're giving to your kids' sports teams, you're giving to your church, you're giving to, charities that you care about, you can now maximize the tax benefits from having that foundation. And then the other piece that I love to say is just that goodwill. You get to a point where when you're growing your business, when you're a small business, people see you as that hometown hero and they're rooting for you to make it. But once you get
Yeah.
bigger and bigger, you run into what Bill Gates did. He became the richest man in the world. And all of a sudden, the government is suing him for antitrust lawsuits. People are calling him the big corporation, the big, greedy, wealthy people. People can't wrap their head around why you're still trying to grow your business when you're already a millionaire or multimillionaire or billionaire, right? And so you go from being the hometown hero to being seen as the villain. But the thing that you can do to change that is the same thing that Bill Gates did. He started it was the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, now called the Gates Foundation. That foundation changed his public perception to the point where most people, when they think of Bill Gates, they don't even think about him being the richest man in the world, this corporate titan and all of this. No, they think about the guy who's out there giving out scholarships, the guy who's trying to find cures for various diseases, the guy who's buying up all the farmland and really trying to help, in that way. People know him no longer as just a patron, someone that's stroking a check, but because he has a foundation, they see him as a philanthropist, right? And when you're seen as a philanthropist, that puts you in the discussion with the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Gates. And now your reputation, instead of you being demonized because you're a capitalist or because you're growing your business and you're trying to, build a legacy for your family and do more, now people understand, hey, the reason I'm doing more is because I want to help more people. I've got this foundation. So the more I do, the more we can give, the more we can help others. And that's a mission that other people can get behind for sure.
Yeah, I love this, Audrey. This is fascinating. So, for a business owner considering starting a nonprofit, what are the first key steps they should think about when starting a foundation?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'd say the first thing is just thinking about something that you care about, right? We all care about different things. I have a client that I'll never forget when she signed up with us. Her passion was to save the iguanas. And I always say to myself, I didn't know they needed to be saved, right? But
I
she
love
knew
iguanas.
that there's a lot that's going on there, and that was her passion. So we all care about something different. So the first thing is just to think of whatever it is that you're passionate about, right? And again, sometimes we second guess ourselves and say, oh, well, someone else is doing it, or I don't know if that we need another charity to do this. Well, here's the thing. If whoever else is out there was doing such a great job, you wouldn't even think to do it, right? You wouldn't have that passion to help because the need would already be met. So the fact that you're thinking of this issue and you care about it and you're like, man, I'd love to, help people that have, food insecurity or, battered women or something for youth sports or, help the elderly or education or a hospital or a school or a church or, whatever it is, the fact that you care about it shows that there's an unmet need. So that's the first thing I would say is, find what that passion is. And then the second thing is then just, to reach out, right? To get a resource to kind of help you understand. And so I've got a special thing I want to give your listeners as well, Robert. I really appreciate you inviting me here. And so our paperback book is on Amazon. It sells for $23 plus shipping if you go there now to get it. But I'd love to, for your listeners that are checking out this incredible show that you created, we have a landing page. It's called startyournonprofit.com. And if they go there, this paperback $23 book, we will mail it to them free of charge. Literally, all they have to do is pay for shipping. But the book itself will be free for them. And that way, it's just a great start, right? So just reading it, hearing the story will kind of educate you, share with you about the process. And then from there, just take action, and yeah.
Yeah, awesome, Audrey. So let me get that landing page once more where they could claim their free book. That's startyournonprofit.com, correct?
You got it. Nice and easy.
Perfect. I love that. Easy branding. Audrey, you're a wealth of information. This is really fascinating and you're very well spoken. Really appreciate you jumping on the show today. Outside of going there to claim their free book, which is startyournonprofit.com, again, if you missed that, is there anything else you'd like to share as far as where we can find out more about Chisholm Law Firm online?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, we are on all the social media channels. So you can follow us at Chisholm Law Firm, and that's spelled Chisholm Law Firm, on all the major social media platforms. And then you can also follow me personally at Audrey K. Chisholm. So again, Audrey, Audrey, middle initial K, and then Chisholm, Chisholm. On all the major platforms. We've got a ton of free content there. Our YouTube channel has hundreds of videos just to really answer a lot of the most pressing questions you may have in a friendly and entertaining way. And of course, you can always check out our main site, chisholmfirm.com, which is CHISHOLM firm, FIRM.com. Book a free consultation. Our team is able to talk to you. And again, we make the process so that anyone that wants to do this can, Robert. We've got payment plans that are affordable, all different types of packages based on what you need. But all you have to do is get started. And from there, nonprofits really pay for themselves.
Thanks again for being on the show, Audrey. I'm going to claim my free book after the show. I really appreciate it. You've been a wealth of knowledge. Have a great day. Thanks again for being here.
No problem. Thank you so much, Robert.